What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Tay TV. In my video, I will be reacting to her Bisa, another video from her called The Waiting Season. Let's get into it.
Has for us is bigger than what we have right now, and if you can't handle even the little things that you possess, how do you think that you can handle the big things?
That's if you can't handle the little stuff, you can't handle the big stuff. You gotta start small and work your way up.
Is serving you best. Why it is that God didn't instantaneously give you what it is that you asked for, but made you wait a little while. I wrote this in my journal and I shared it on my Instagram. It was a thought that provoked so many feelings in a space in which I was at one point in my life. And so it goes. Today I want you to remind you to be patient. Just hold on a little while longer. What you decide.
I'ma just say this, and from my experience, I learned like you have to be patient. You have to be patient in order to be successful. If you try to rush the process, you're gonna fail. Just take your time and just be patient. Being patient, is the best way to go. Sometimes it is.
God requires you to reside in the waiting season in order for you to be prepared to handle and keep it in your flourishing season. Sometimes we desire so much but lack the ability to know how to manage it, and you can't afford to mismanage what God has for you.
That's a powerful
statement. I remember so many times overthinking and feeling that if I just prayed for it, that it would instantaneously come to fruition.
Sometimes I think like that too, but now in prayer, you gotta be patient.
This way in which we go
in prayer,
to God,
you gotta be patient.
We want something.
God don't answer prayers on our time. He answers prayers on His time. But from what I learned, His timing is better, and His timing is perfect. I'm gonna turn this up real quick, but I know how to trust His timing. So you just gotta trust God's time. If you try to like rush it and keep begging, He won't do it how fast you want them to do. You got to be patient.
The house when they want to go out with their friends or they're buttering you up to put you in a good mood so that you would say yes. And if we are totally honest with ourselves, we do the same thing with God. We do good for a little while, right? As a way of saying, God, look at me. I'm doing all of the things. And I'm going to come to you in prayer, and I'm going to pray about this thing for a series of days. And I just know you're going to make it happen. You're going to make it work. And I'm going to get what I prayed for. And because He knows our hearts, He knows that we are coming from a place of selfishness. There is this need to want what we prayed for and what we desired. But just like a parent, to a child, we decide. We are the deciding factor of when, how, and to what capacity. And so when I wrote that in my journal and I started and began to think about my journey, even my walk spiritually, and how I employed God in praying about things that I wanted when I wanted them most, in the heighten of that feeling of needing, I also realized I wasn't doing the work on the back end and that I wasn't consistent in my spiritual life. I want to remind you also that many times what we want, the big things, the things that we want to put in our hands, the things that we think is tangible, the things that we feel is going to bring us happiness, God already knows that it won't. It will bring us more problems. It reminds me of so many people who have hit the lottery and came, and it gave them temporary happiness because now they have a increase.
If you don't manage your lottery money, it's not going to work out.
Purchase anything, houses, cars.
I don't even play the lottery no more, and I'm going to say this statement. This is the last time I'm going to pause this video. The reason why I don't play the lottery no more, because at my job that I'm still working at, his father and son, his father was telling his son that like he was going to play the lottery, and he told his son to play. His son told him no, because his son told him, he said he'll rather earn his success. And when I heard that statement, I was like, wow, he's not going to play the lottery anymore, because like he told his father, he said no, he said I'll rather heard his success. It's like the way he that statement was so powerful. I told my sister about that a couple months ago, and he's right. I'd rather earn my success, so I don't need no lot of money. I'm work hard for what I got to get. So
friends.
But again, that statement, I was like, wow.
Months later, maybe a year, you hear about their downfall and the way in which they are spending their life now. And many will tell you on the back end that it wasn't worth the money. It wasn't worth gaining what it was that they thought was going to give them happiness. They got it, but they weren't able to hold and maintain it. On a personal note, there again were many times that I prayed for things to happen and realized,
yes, so like I said,
God didn't give it to me because He knew that
I remember one time I played lottery. I prayed to win. I'm so glad I didn't. I'm glad now. So like I said, I don't play the lottery. I don't play lottery. I don't play lottery no more. That's done.
I couldn't handle what I was praying for. Many times we pray for new jobs, new positions, right? Because that new job and that new position would gain us some form of financial status. It would bring us up, give us more than what we have now. Or the position would be another position up to something that we've been putting our eyes on, working our way up to the ladder. But many times God doesn't give us that because He understands that, number one, we shouldn't even be at that job in the first place, right?
Okay, I
that
thought
there is other opportunities.
You shouldn't be at a job and there's other opportunities.
Number two, you're not ready to handle the responsibilities of that job, the one that ensues more responsibilities.
That's right.
Maybe it's more hours. Maybe the financial increase means that you'll go buck wild because financially, you don't know how to handle your money. The more money you get, the more you spend. God knows.
The more money you get, the more that you spend, and that's a true statement.
Us to put ourselves in a deeper hole. Maybe you are wanting this relationship so bad. Maybe you're single. Maybe you want to.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. It froze for a second, but it's going to unfreeze. Hold up, yeah.
Be in a relationship. You want to be loved. You see all of your friends in a relationship. You see them happy. You don't know what goes behind closed doors, but you want it. But God also knows that maybe the person for you hasn't come yet because you haven't worked out what you need to work out within yourself. You be in a relationship with someone and want to be married, and it hasn't happened yet. Could it be that this person is not the person for you? That God is stopping you from years of being in a marriage that doesn't suit you well? It's something to think about. Many times we want the things that we see tangible, that works for our ego. You want a bigger house, you want a newer car, you want a car that costs $80,000. You don't have an $80,000 paycheck coming in.
Right.
Sometimes God allows us to do some strange things to teach us a lesson. And then other times He just says, wait, my child. And many times in those lessons as well, even when we're thinking highly about the things that we want, there's a moment where you are in the waiting room.
Right.
And when you're in the waiting room, you begin to drift off and think about certain things. God gives us that space to think a little harder about the decisions and the things that we want. And in those moments in that waiting room, you also get a space to understand that maybe some things are not meant for you right now. Mm-hmm. It is okay. Sometimes God shows us ourselves and how we selfishly want certain things that are not needed but
right now.
Wanted. We have to trust that what God has for us is bigger than what we have right now. And if you can't handle even the little things that you possess, how do you think that you can handle the big things that God is placing in the storage room? It is true that patience is a virtue, and many of us are not virtuous in patience. It shows us a lot of who we are, and it shows us how we can be when we don't get what we want. And then there are some who understand that enduring patience to get to the end, to see what it is that God has for you. Those are the ones who...
She's making some good points. These are some good valid points.
Not give up in this season.
God don't answer your prayer. Just continue praying. Just continue praying. Be patient until He answers.
Deploy knowledge and wisdom. Understand why it is that this waiting room is serving you best. Why it is that God didn't instantaneously give you what it is that you asked for, but made you wait a little while longer until it is that your big blessing comes.
Right.
Your role is not to pray to God to receive something and then forget about Him the next day once it's given. Your role is to always
pray without ceasing.
Constant communication with Him, much like we are as parents with our children. And I know many parents often say that you only come to me when you want some money, or you only come to me when you want something. But I really wonder what God would say if He could speak loudly to us. You only want me when I can give you something. And that says a lot about ourselves.
It does.
In our secret corners.
It does.
In our secret spaces. In our secret thoughts. And who we are spiritually. So maybe the reason why you didn't get what it was that you thought you were supposed to receive is because God knew that you couldn't handle it. And maybe it is that you didn't get what you received because it's not your time.
That's the second reason.
And maybe you didn't get
the reason
what it is that you've been praying for, that you thought that you would receive, is because what you think you should receive is not really for you.
Right.
Step. Will bring you joy, it will bring you misery. And sometimes God closes the door.
No, because a new one.
To protect you.
And, to protect you.
If
right.
This is your first time here, my name is Lisa Marie. I'm the host of City Dialogue, host of our podcast. You can also listen and see me on TikTok and Instagram, but here you can tap into YouTube. I would very much appreciate your liking the video and then thinking about subscribing as well. I don't know, we actually have raw conversations here. I don't do anything that's
This is it for this video. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel.
So
Thank you.
many of the things that I speak on are just things that many